Welcome to Pacific Magazine. I'm Petty Officer Kirk Putnam here at the Grand Hyatt Hotel in Jakarta, Indonesia, where exercise Gema Bhakti 2015 is already underway. In the Pacific region, natural disasters such as earthquakes, tsunamis, and tropical storms are regular occurrences that create sudden and catastrophic conditions, which can destroy a nation's stability in a matter of hours. When a recovering nation asks for assistance from their neighbors in the Pacific, even the most well-meaning disaster relief efforts can be hindered by any number of complications, like poor coordination, limited resources, or simple misunderstandings. That is why American and Indonesian armed forces, as well as civilian humanitarian organizations, came together to create Exercise Gema Bhakti.
On behalf of the Commander of the United States Pacific Command, Mr. Harry Harris, Admiral Harry Harris, I'd like to welcome the participants to Jakarta, Indonesia and the Gema Bhakti 15 staff exercise. I'd also like to thank our gracious hosts from the Indonesian military, the TNI, for all their efforts in planning and organizing this exercise. And frankly, I'd like you to join me for a round of applause for the superb organization that I've seen so far.
This exercise is a facilitated discussion-based event where representatives from several professional backgrounds in every armed forces branch of both nations come together to learn about organizing humanitarian assistance and disaster relief efforts at the operational level.
This sort of facilitated discussion, it's absolutely essential to understanding another country, especially if you're about to participate with them in the future on an exercise or an operation. Right now, there's information you can read in books, or there's information that we can give one another about our organizations. But it's not until you're in these sort of fact-based scenario discussions, or we're giving examples from other humanitarian aid missions or combat missions that we've all been on, that you really start to see where we have subtle differences in understanding or where we actually come together and are very aligned. Sometimes it's actually very surprising.
This year's exercise represents the third iteration and already demonstrates rapid expansion in regards to the topics covered, the depth of the training, as well as the scope of the exercise itself.
Indonesia is one of the top 3 countries in the world that has the most natural disasters from land to sea. They are very capable at conducting their own domestic disaster management and the response. We consider them experts in this area. Coming from last year and looking at how they performed to this year, they were already good at it internally. Externally would probably be their next level that they're stepping up, and that's why we're working with them so that they will grow into providing that capability in the region to their neighbors as well. Possibly in another time in the future, there is that chance that the U.S. will be there and will meet up with them outside of their country to assist another country.
The goal of the exercise is to empower both nations to be able to respond to disasters and coordinate humanitarian aid efforts in the Pacific. In order to achieve that goal, the exercise is divided into 4 subjects: urban search and rescue, humanitarian civil-military coordination, rules of engagement, and the organization of a multinational coordination center. The exercise participants worked with their counterparts to build on the discussion-based scenarios for each lane, but first had to overcome cultural differences and a language barrier.
If we are in real life going to have some kind of operation that we are going to conduct together, there is this barrier that we have to overcome and we have to work through in order to conduct a successful operation. So there are challenges, but it's a good preparation and something good for all the staff officers to think in the back of your head when you actually conduct an actual operation. Then you're going to have to think through those things, and it may take longer than you would like. And during a real life event, you're going to have to work through the language barrier. And so it's a good way of giving both the TNI as well as the US planners an opportunity to kind of discuss those things and think about them for what would happen in real life.
This secondary objective gave participants real-life practice handling the variety of factors that comes with engaging in multinational relief efforts.
As a TNI officer, I hope I can learn how a good coordination during a disaster relief between the host nation and the other country. Besides that, we can improve our professional soldier during to the disaster relief.
I think overall this exercise has actually been a fantastic opportunity to bring together participants from the US and from the Indonesia side that would not necessarily have opportunities to engage like this and gain a better understanding of where each one is coming from and how they each approach these issues that we're dealing with. It's almost certain that at some point in the future, the US and Indonesia will be coordinating in some real-world disaster response, and this helps lay the foundation for mutual understanding, which will improve our coordination effectiveness in the long run. This is one of those really unique opportunities to achieve that.
A major backbone of Gema Bhakti was the ability to communicate with each other through exercise translators, like U.S. Army Captain Michelle Kania.
So far, I think it's been really great. I see a lot of interactions between both the U.S. forces and the TNI. The TNI are really excited to have the U.S. forces here, and I definitely see a lot of friendships happening as the exercise continues. And I actually had a couple of the TNI ask if it was okay for them to take the U.S. forces out. I said that would be awesome, and I know a lot of our guys want to check out the city and really explore it and enjoy the culture and the food.
Born in America, raised in Jakarta, and returning to America to attend college before joining the U.S. Army, Captain Kania demonstrates the true spirit of Gema Bhakti, using her personal experiences with the two nations' diverse cultures and languages to bring them closer together.
The biggest thing I think that we should take away from this is the Indonesians are really excited about having the U.S. here and doing this exercise with them, and I'm hoping that it will continue to grow. I was able to speak to one of the generals the other day, and he definitely sees this exercise as very helpful for not only the U.S. military, but also for the Indonesian military, because although the Indonesian military are learning from the U.S. forces, the Americans are learning as well, because the Indonesians have really good experience in all these natural disasters because they are in the ring of fire.
Each nation continues to grow their understanding and experience with multinational disaster relief coordination through real-life scenarios and exercise Gema Bhakti.
My hope is that any of the people who have been in these facilitated lanes, if they're part of a planning team in the future, that they will keep some of these concepts in the back of their mind, where if they're starting to make a black and white decision, they still have that, oh wait, I remember talking about this and it changed the scenario. Or in contrast, if they're on a more tactical or strategic level, again, they think about those examples and how they filter up and down. How do pieces of information go from being tactical and affecting operational planning, and then how does that operational planning affect you on the tactical level?
But the organizers hope to expand the scope of the exercise to include more themes, scenarios, and one day hope to invite other nations from the Pacific region to participate.
The next step is to bring in a third country to truly make this a multinational, because right now it's just US and Indonesia. And then that multinational aspect would be a partner country within this region, one of Indonesia's neighbors. In future Gema Bhakti, that's what we should see.
As the exercise is only in its third year, Gema Bhakti is still making a name for itself. But the impact of the training will undoubtedly be seen and felt across the Pacific through the lives saved thanks to the knowledge learned here at Exercise Gema Bhakti. That does it for this edition of Pacific Magazine. And from all of us at AFN Pacific, thanks for watching.